Dead End Hip Hop album review. Electronica Act II, The Patents of Nobility, The Turn. Before we get into the review, this is typically the place where I give you a little bit of backstory. But being Electronica, being the ghost of hip hop, there's not a lot. If you're really interested, go watch the other review that we did of his earlier project, and I gave you a little bit more insight on Elect. This was supposed to drop, what, 2007?
2012.
2012?
Yeah.
So this joint was originally supposed to drop 2012, and this motherfucker leaked. After going through this, I'm not gonna front, like I was a little disappointed that this didn't drop before written testimony. And you know what at least my gripes were on that. It felt like a collab album. How could this be your debut? Jay-Z out-rapped you, this, that, and the third. But if this would have came out first, I would have been okay with the written testimony coming out after. You know what I'm saying? So if we were able to flip-flop these, I think I would have been more excited overall for Electronica. Because this is a pretty good album. It was weird, but I know Electronica is a little weird. You know, a couple of the like the Bonnie and Clyde shit. Like I was like, okay, what the fuck where are we going? And then the joint after that, and then even the way he ends the song, 10,000 Lotus Petals, where it's just like he's not even rap, like it's just a fucking, you know what I'm saying?
I love that though.
I do too. I like it too. I know. When I first heard it, it didn't hit me the same, but like I just love it. I like the way it ended because Elect always had like this kind of movie theme type of thing, and it sounded like a closing track to that without and like I was listening to it actually on the way here with Dom in the car. I was like, oh man, this is a nice little closing track without lyrics.
It fits Electronica.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I can accept it. And then it fits the weirdness of the rest of the album as well. So in the context of it, I'm like, okay. But like, I don't know, it was just, this was quirky enough and weird enough to fit what the personification of what Electronica has become. And I think that marriage of what our perception is and how the music actually turned out was really good after several listens. Because I'm not even gonna front, like it took me a couple listens to really get into it. Just because it was so, like that Bonnie and Clyde really fucked me up. Because I'm like, what the fuck is
Why?
this? Because I'm like what it, like why even, like why is this on the album?
Why not? Have you listened to his other mixtapes besides the thing we did?
Not projects, just the singles that he released, and we were ready for the fucking
This is
album.
so Elect.
Yeah, if you listen to his mixtapes, he's done
Yeah, this is like.
Okay.
But I get it though, because I was gonna ask you why it was just weird. But the more you talk, I'm like, okay, now I can see why you think it's weird, because like this whole thing is themed. You ever seen The Prestige? So like that's what this Act 1, 2, and 3 is. Like it's based on that movie. It's like a magician movie, and and Internals in that first mixtape, those references are all through it. You know what I'm saying? And The Turn is a act in the magician scene in that movie. So this shit is like, I get why you say it's weird, but it's theme based.
I could definitely see that, but now I didn't know all of that backstory to it and how interwoven this thing is.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be 3 acts. That's why I say you're not ready for The Prestige yet. Because this is The Turn.
Do you think we're gonna get Act 3?
I hope so. Yeah, after hearing this, I hope we get to Act 3. Actually, personally,
I do too, but no.
But I just can't imagine what that would sound like, because this shit is already hella confusing as it is. So it's just like, damn, he said we're not ready for The Prestige yet. I don't know how that shit's gonna sound like.
I think that's why you got a written testimony. I think he shelved that original idea when he shelved Act 2.
Yeah, probably so.
Real quick, did you guys know the story about what happened with this whole thing? So apparently there was some hackers or somebody.
Some who are
hackers
hackers
paid $9,000 to somebody to get this album.
Yeah.
And that's how it got out into the public, for those of you that may be watching.
You think that's true?
I don't know if it's true, but that's what's being said. And then that's when they started scrambling to put it out.
It sounds to me like what's more likely is they released this themselves because of the lukewarm reception to a written testimony.
That's what I thought at first.
That makes way more sense than, oh, yeah, hackers paid somebody $9,000 to get the album, they leaked it, and then coincidentally, a day later, Jay-Z got all the sample clearances done, and they put it on Tidal. That doesn't sound very likely. It sounds a little more likely like people were shitting on written testimony, whether you think it's unfair or fair, it doesn't matter. People were making, their comments, and then they were just like, okay, well, let's go ahead and drop the actual album real quick. That's a cool story. I don't still know if I buy it.
Yeah, I think like when I was listening to it, I think Rough Love is the one where he didn't really have lyrics and he was kind of
singing or whatever.
Yeah, with in terms of I think how he wanted the flow to go. I think when I first listened to it without all of that context,
I think you're talking about Nights Around Table.
No, he's talking about Rough Love.
I think it was Rough Love.
Rough Love had the lyrics.
He was going.
No, that's Round Nights
Nights Around Table.
Yeah.
I thought that was Rough Love too.
Okay, well,
That's Rough Love. She wants that rough love.
Is that the one he was singing on? It was one he was singing on.
Rough Love, he was singing.
Right, but that's not the next one. Is the one where he was saying I cried at night and he's talking about his mom. That's Nights at the Round Table.
Okay, well the one where he was mumbling.
That's Nights at the Round. That's Nights at the Round Table.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought that going back to what Feefo was saying, that was for him for whatever reason. I thought that was him just being weird. For whatever reason, it kind of fit within what was going on with the album when it got that far deep into the album toward the latter part, because understanding now about the leak situation and everything, those are unfinished songs, obviously. But for whatever reason, on Act II, it just seemed like it was just JLX just being weird and doing what he was doing. It was just really weird. And I think that speaks to this sort of mystique that he got, as an artist.
I mean, throughout the album, he says, like, sometimes I don't know what to say. And so he kind of sets you up for that at some points, you know what I'm saying? So when you get there, he has the mumbling thing. And then on written testimony, he did it, where he was just, like, mumbling in that one part.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't think that's a matter of he didn't finish the song. I think that's just him being
creative. I think so, too.
Okay.
I think it was
well, part of me thinking, because I was like, it sounded like a process when he was doing it, trying to figure out, because it's like he had the hook ready and he was just trying to figure out what those verses was going to sound like, and then he'll fill it in. So to me, it did sound like a process. When I first listened to it, I was like, yeah, I think that's just him being Jay-Elect, but I think this was actually a process of him trying to create this song.
I don't think so, because then why would he have left it on a written testimony if that was a finished album?
Written testimony, it was just one piece. It fit like.
It fit on this song too. He didn't do it on multiple songs. He did it on one song.
It didn't fit the way it fit on written testimony, because
Yeah,
on
it
written
did.
testimony he only did it at one point. This he did it in several areas.
On one song. That's why I'm glad you corrected the song. He was talking about his mom, and then at some point he just started just like. It didn't sound like, to me at least, it didn't sound like he was trying to figure out what lyrics to put there. It just sounded like he was just being weird.
I liked it though.
No,
I don't know,
did
for
too.
whatever reason, it just seemed like it worked.
No, I think it worked for a Jay-Elect.
I think this was a smooth listen the first time I heard it, because for whatever reason, you just can't help but think about the times that this was supposed to come out. I couldn't help but think about 2012 and how this would have come across back then.
I got over that the fourth time
listen.
I listened to it. I got over that.
Okay.
At first it was hard to get over that, but then after a while I said, let me just listen to this for what it is.
Yeah, I think even today, outside of Shiny Suit Theory and a couple of other tracks that were out that he released as singles, it still kind of feels like it fits today for whatever reason. Like I think if you kind of put that aside, that this was a 2012 album, it kind of feels like it's something that could have dropped this year.
I feel like written testimony more than this one. I feel like this.
I agree.
Yeah.
And there was just a couple of lyrics, especially like on that first song, Real Magic, where he's talking about BBM, Blackberry Messenger.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
So there were
That's
certain things
Dang,
that dated this.
I didn't even hear that. That's crazy. I'm
So
glad I didn't hear that.
So I didn't have that same issue with y'all thinking about like, oh, this was supposed to be 2012. I was pretty much over that, but then certain lyrics would just keep standing out there.
You know what really made me think about that was Dinner at Tiffany's.
That shit was dope.
That shit was hella dope.
Yeah.
And
That
how
was
it
dope how
transitioned, because I started to hear it like halfway through the song, and it really started to clear up like right around the 2-minute 20 something mark, I think.
Is that when you noticed that was the shiny
That's
suit?
when that's when I heard I said, is he gonna do this?
Yeah, that was
And then I
cool.
heard and I heard the piano, then I heard the orchestra. I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna do it.
What made me think when I heard that, I was like, damn, why didn't he do that on written testimony? That would have been a dope little nugget on written testimony to add that song, to go into Shiny Suit Theory. Because a lot of people complain about Shiny Suit being on the album. So if you add that to it, it's like, okay, it's different now. And I want to say we said that. Like, damn, you could have did something different on it or switch something up, and that would have definitely done it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, well, now we got another piece to this.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
it gives it new life.
yeah, it gave it new life on this. You know what I'm saying?
It did.
You know,
But you know what fucked me up was it came right after Bonnie and Clyde. So, I know,
But that's what made it. That's what made it even. I felt like that really added to it, though.
it did, and I don't disagree. But because Bonnie and Clyde fucked me up so much, and then Tiffany came, I'm like, damn. So another instrumental where he's not gonna say shit. But then, like, as it goes into Shiny Suit Theory, I'm like, okay, bet, I'm here for this. But I don't know, man. Just Bonnie and Clyde fucked me up on this album.
see.
Bro. Like, because I don't get the point of it, and it's
If it's supposed to be a theme like Rod is saying,
Yeah.
then it would kind of make more sense. If it's supposed to go along with this movie. And plus, I mean, maybe if we heard Act 2 closer to Act 1, it would make more sense. But being that we heard this after a written testimony is just confusing. But I mean, yeah, Real Magic I thought was dope. I thought those piano sounds. So they used a lot of pianos throughout this, and I thought that was really fresh. But yeah, when it got to Dinner at Tiffany's, I was like, damn, this is beautiful. And then rolling right into Shiny Suit Theory was like, wow, like that really did, like you said, give that song completely. I mean, I always liked that song, but it just made it sound so much better for some reason when it did it that way. Even better in tune. Like I think even just the production on this
really
was
like
just
that
so
in
much
tune.
better than what they did with written testimony. It was just it fit.
it
better.
fit Jay Elect better.
It fit Jay Elect
Like,
better.
This was Jay Elect, whereas the other one, it was Jay Elect and Jay. You know what I'm saying? It's like something like Jay probably helped pick the beats on that or whatever.
Definitely.
To make it more accessible. So that kind of going back to what we were talking about as to what happened. I don't know if it's because he was on Rock Nation that they felt like he needed a more accessible sounding album. Maybe that's why they might have scratched this one.
This was 2010. People were not expecting Jay Elect to do an accessible album. He'd already done multiple mixtapes that people were flipping their shit over. If they dropped this in 2012, he would have been on fire.
Yes.
And the whole fucking sample clearances, they could have taken those songs off, gave them different beats. They could have done something to release this in 2012. There's not a stitch of my body that believes that this was held up for fucking 8 years for sample clearances. I think it's a solid piece of work, but had this come out prior to a written testimony,
amazing.
I might like it a lot more, because now it just seems weird. Like, this could have been your debut album. You released half the damn songs before the album ever came out, which was weird, which would also go partly to y'all's theory that maybe it was sample clearances, even if I don't agree with that, but he was releasing Lucy's here and there. Why?
Do you remember? I do not remember a letter to Fallon.
Oh
Do
yeah,
you
that's the main
remember
one
that?
I remember.
I do not. When that shit, I ain't gonna lie. When it got to that song, because I did not remember it, and then that weird auto tune, I was like, oh, I know. I was in my head. I was like, oh, I see why this shit was shelved. Because I was like,
Nah, you're bugging.
y'all like that song?
Yeah.
Yes.
It definitely dated it to me, but yeah, I did not. I was like, what the hell is this?
You know, it does date it, but it dates it in a weird way, because it's just like, okay, if this was Lil Wayne doing it, I might be like, well, that's weird, and why are you doing that? But since it's Jay Elect and he's weird anyway, if we didn't know that this was recorded fucking 7 years ago or whatever it was, we might hear this and just be like, oh, it's just Jay Elect being quirky.
I think the reason you think it's dated because like it had that kind of New Orleans bounce to it, like he had on written testimony.
Well, it was really the auto tune
Yeah,
part.
the auto tune sounded not like.
But it was a
cool,
weird.
modern.
It was Jay Elect
that was just the
spin
hook,
on the
though.
auto tune. I know, but still, it was still just kind of.
It didn't sound like modern auto tune. I get what he's saying.
Well, I'm not even talking. Oh, you saying you're talking about the auto tune? I guess I didn't even really pay attention to the auto tune like that. I was paying attention more to that New Orleans bounce that he did on Written Testimony that I didn't particularly like. I would have liked
it here.
I liked it here.
Okay.
On Letter to Fallon. And like I said, the auto tune didn't really bother me like that because, like I said, it was just a hook.
Road to Perdition was the one that I remember very specifically.
I do not remember that one.
I remember that one.
The only ones I remember is Letter to Fallon, Shiny Suit Theory, and I think it was one more on here that was released that I remember, but I don't remember the one because that's the one with the J on the hook and stuff.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's annoying.
Yeah,
it's like why is that there?
Yeah,
like it didn't make any sense.
What, on Road to Perdition?
I think it was Road Perdition.
Yeah, that's right.
He's like, I got these niggas busy. Don't worry about it.
Let the beat breathe. Remember we was telling you that on Written Testimony where he's let that bitch breathe. I don't know if you remember that, but yeah,
I believe you. I don't remember.
Oh, okay, yeah. So when he was like, "Let that bitch breathe," like that's what, because they did it a lot on Written Testimony, like.
But it was like for what? Like it didn't, because he did it multiple times on the song. So
I was waiting on Jay to come on.
Me too.
I was just like,
what are
you
you
had
doing?
Jay on a whole album and you didn't even use him when you're supposed to use him. Like he would have been perfect on this track for me.
100%.
I think because it was a Just Blaze beat, and you know,
Yeah.
he kills Just Blaze beats. So like I was just like, why is he not gonna ever come in?
Well,
like,
maybe Jay didn't have time back in 2010. Like maybe he was busy. I don't know.
but you had time to make a whole fucking album with him.
But that was last year. But we got to remember, according to y'all's theory, this was just leaked.
Yeah.
So maybe Jay didn't have time in 2010 to record.
This sound
a
like
verse.
something that should have been on Written Testimony, along
Road
with
Perdition?
Yeah, yes,
it does.
absolutely,
It sounds
does.
like
absolutely.
It has that sound.
Hell yeah,
I agree with that 100%.
I liked Better in Tune. Did
Hell
y'all like
yeah.
that? That
Yes.
shit, man.
That's like one of my favorite.
Man,
tracks.
LaTonya, when she came in to close that
Yeah.
bitch out, I was like, man.
Yeah,
That shit was hard as fuck. He
It
said that
was.
shit about staring out the window is like, what
Yes.
do you say? Staring out the window is for house flies and what was it?
something like that. But
For lost love and house flies or something like that. I was
Yeah.
like, damn, because he was talking about the church and like he said something about the more work needs to be done on the outside. That whole fucking scheme was just dope, man.
like how it's like frustrating when you can't articulate yourself and shit like that. Like man, I that shit hit. I was like, damn, this shit is hard. Like you said, this shit is hard. That's like one of my favorite songs on that.
Me
bitch.
too.
You know, Memories and Merlot, we were talking about how Jay Elect makes mood tracks. Like, to me, that was one of the moodiest tracks on here. It took me, like, into a headspace of Drake So Far Gone. Like, that super airy,
Yeah, I see
barely
that.
anything beat. And then you have, like, just him kind of talking and shit.
Yeah.
So that was a dope one, too. Like, this project was really, like, it was really good. Myke, I wasn't, like, amazed or blown away. But this definitely has replay value.
No, it's growing on me heavy. It's growing on me
too.
heavy. Like when I first heard it, I liked some of it, and I was just like, I'm not sure if I like this more than Written Testimony yet.
Oh shit.
I
do.
Because I liked it. I think it more than you
Yeah,
guys
you
did.
did, yeah.
But now I think I'm slowly starting to like it more than Written Testimony. Honestly speaking, because at first I was just like, damn, he should have moved these over here and put it on Written Testimony, or vice versa. But now I think I'm liking this as it is. You know what I'm saying? More than thinking about the fact that he should have put Road to Perdition. What is it? Perdition on this, or move this over, or move that Breakfast at Tiffany's over.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I like what he did here. You know what I'm saying? Especially for it to go along with Act 1. You know what I'm saying? And supposedly 3.
Yeah, I definitely think this was a clear depiction of who Jay Elect is as an artist. You know,
Yes.
and I think that was my biggest gripe with the first one. Because it's like, bro, I'm not getting enough of you. And I got all of him on this. And that was refreshing. And that's why I
Yeah.
said, like, I wish this would have came out first. Because I think I would have had a different appreciation for the one that actually did come out first.
Yeah. There's a lot to unpack here.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I feel like I need to read more listening to this shit.
I didn't get that.
Like some stuff I just can't follow when he says it. Like some stuff I had to look up. I'm like, what the fuck did he mean when he said that? Like I don't know. Maybe I'm slow. Like but
Nah, nobody's saying that. But
yeah.
I didn't. You know what it is? I think I'm just used to Jay like being wordy and heady. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes when he says shit that just goes over my head, I just roll with it.
See, because like I like Ka, right? And Ka is real wordy and heady. But I don't know. I understand it a little bit more with Ka. With Jay-Elect, because he talks a lot about Muslim like teachings and stuff like that. And I don't know much about that. Like,
It showed me how much you can say with a little bit of words. You know what I'm saying? Like how deep something can actually be without having to say a lot to explain it. And the line that really stands out to me is the one where he said that, and y'all already know I can't really quote lines like that, but when he was when his mom told him that God's the only person that can comfort you, you know what I'm saying? And that shit hit deep because like when I thought about that line, I'm like, you know, this is a cold ass world and nobody really gives a fuck about you. And he also said like his mom was crying when she told him that, and I had to like put myself in that scenario, and it's like, damn, like she's talking about it doesn't matter what she does as a mother on this planet, doesn't matter brother, father, homies, the love that you need and like the comfort that you need to be safe, you'll never have that until you meet God. And that shit was like, that shit really threw me when I sat down and thought about that fucking line. And maybe that's just my perspective on that line. You know, I don't know if that's really what he meant or how
It sounds like
took it.
Yeah, it sounds
but
like
man, like that shit, it kind of fucked me up. I had to pause real quick, and I'm like, damn, like, and I started thinking about all the times my mom would tell me stuff like that, and I was just like, shit, like, it's just he's deep, man.
You know, he had a line like that on Real Magic that got me the way that one got you, where he said, planet Earth is a hospital, we're on the respirator, and he said, it's magic, life is not tragic. Of course, I'm gonna forget the last part. Life is not tragic. It's a luxury.
it's a luxury, yeah.
Yeah, that was a dope line. And it was just, and that's the shit that made me really sit down and be like, okay, we're in for a treat. I didn't look at the track list before I started listening to it.
Nah, me neither.
So when it was like, oh, I've heard this. Oh, I've heard this too. Oh, I've already heard this. Oh, I've heard this one as well. It kind of took me out of it a little bit the first listen. But when I went back and now I really understand what Jay-Elect was going for with these 15, 16 songs, it makes me like A Written Testimony less.
I feel you. I feel that.
Because I feel like you just said, this really should have been his debut album. This gave me Jay-Elect's personality. This gave me Jay-Elect's quirkiness. This gave me Jay-Elect's artistry. This gave me his rapidy raps. The only thing that I think this needed, and maybe because it's a quote unquote leak, only thing I feel like this needed was some cleaning up.
Yeah.
You know, there were some quality issues with the album. I think that, you know, his vocals didn't sound great on certain parts. The like leveling was a little odd on certain parts, which I wish B was here because I wanted to ask him if he noticed that. But those are very minor gripes. I'm used to listening to lo-fi weird ass rap, but I think that this is definitely a lot more interesting than what he did with A Written Testimony. And when you're talking about dating, I felt the only time I really felt the dated part, because I didn't know what BBM was. I thought it was Big Beautiful Mama or something. When it got to Life on Mars, which was a dedication to Erykah Badu, and I was like, well, you haven't been with her in a minute. I mean, not saying he wouldn't write a song to her now,
right.
but it just seemed like, well, why is this so early in the album? That's just weird. But then I was like, okay, no, this was probably recorded in 2000 whatever 9 or something, you know.
The one that felt dated for me when he said "fuck Bill O'Reilly," like nobody's saying that anymore. Like he's not even a factor nowadays.
Yeah,
but that one,
huh? You did that on purpose.
Oh
His
wow!
show.
Bars,
son.
I did not. I'm on my Jay-Elect shit.
I did look at the track list, and the thing that dated it for me was the Bullitts, because I was like, are they still around? That was the first thing that went through my head.
I don't even know who they are.
The production group, isn't it? The Bullitts, aren't they a production group?
I don't know. I remember them from back in the day, seeing their name a lot with the way it's spelled, so it's very noticeable. Yeah, BUL. They're on Running Hot. Is there anything you guys disliked about it?
Not really, man.
Yeah.
At first, like I said, like when I first heard 10,000 Lotus Petals, I wanted rhymes, but then I was like, you know what? I like the sound. I like the way it closed out. I didn't really like Rough Love like that. Yeah, I didn't really like Rough Love. That's how I knew that wasn't the song, because I remember not liking Rough Love.
Yeah.
But I kind of got it when it came from Welcome to Knightsbridge, because he had a line where he was just like leading the chick to the mattress, like leading her to the bedroom. And then it's just the way he be wording shit sometimes, and then it goes into rough love after that. So I was like, okay, I see what he tried to do there.
Yeah, rough love was a little creepy.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he was just saying some kind of weird shit. Like,
I don't want to hear Jay Elect like that. Personally,
you don't want to what?
I don't want to hear him rap about that.
I mean, I don't mind hearing him rap about sex. It just, I don't really get the angle here. Like, there was shit about where he was talking about kissing the girl and she said to get off, and he said something along the lines of, you know, you gonna pay for that or something.
That's what I'm saying. It came from that song "Welcome to Knight's Bridge," and it's like, I guess, like the way knights had sex back in that day. It was kind of maybe forceful, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you could
So
be right.
that's what I pull from it. Like I said, I'm maybe I'm slow, but yeah, it's some of the shit that just went straight over my head. But I like that though.
Yeah,
that's what I like about Kai, because I feel like I got to go back to this to break some stuff down.
I don't want to break that one down. That one.
Well, not that one in particular, but like
So it's not like she's the player in my narrative. I'm the author. And I was like, what's going on here? Or maybe if he's not talking about a woman, maybe it's a metaphor for something.
yeah.
It might be just dated. I think it's just dated.
I don't think that is dated. Talking about the girl said to get off me, that's gonna cost you.
In 2012,
I think it's
I
dated.
think they could get away with that a lot more than they can now.
I feel you.
Yeah, I think it's dated. You probably wouldn't say that now, but I could see him actually saying something like that back then.
Favorite tracks for me, give me Real Magic, give me Shiny Suit Theory again. Memories and Merlot, I really fuck with that. Give me Better in Tune.
I really like the top half of this, so I'm gonna go Real Magic, New Illuminati. That's 2. So then I'm gonna go Better in Tune 3. I like Memories of Merlot 4, and Road to why can I say that? Perdition. Even though I wish Jay was actually on the song, I still really like that track.
Yeah, the first 9 tracks on here were really, really good and synced us really well. So that's where I'm gonna pull my 5 from. So we're gonna do Dinner at Tiffany's, Memories and Merlot, Better in Tune, Real Magic, and you know what?
What?
I'm gonna add 10,000 Lotus Petals. So I'm gonna pull from one from the
Damn,
bottom.
you picked 2 songs that didn't even have him rapping on it.
That's fucked up. Jay Elect gonna see about you.
That's crazy.
Yes, I'm gonna go Real Magic, Dinner at Tiffany's, Shiny Suit Theory, Better in Tune, and Road to Perdition.
I keep wanting to say Parent Edition for some reason.
You know it's a movie too, right?
Yeah, I know. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying. That's why I keep wanting to say it.
Jay Elect, if you watching, amazing album, really good album. I really enjoyed it. I feel like I'm still uncovering stuff and unpacking stuff from this album. Hopefully we get Act 3. Hopefully it doesn't take 10 years to drop one and then all of a sudden we get 2 in 1 year. You know, hopefully we get music a little bit more consistently from you, because I think you are still part of the game that, you know, we don't have. Like you are different. You are extremely unique, and I think that with artists like that, you know, you should definitely bless us with your work, you know, as much as possible.
J-Lec, if you're watching, just like Feefo, I feel like it's stuff that I still have to unpack with this album. I wish I actually was a little bit more prepared for this to unpack some more, because I did watch Prestige. I watched Prestige probably like 4 or 5 times, like, because that movie is very convoluted in detail. So I knew, like, if you're going with a theme for as that's concerned, I know that this is a lot deeper than what it may look like on the surface. So, and I know the first one was like Eternal Sunshine or whatever, and we all know how that movie is super like detailed. So that just shows what your mind is when it comes to like creating music. And I think just with that said, you know, stick to that, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't, you know, it just seems like with Written Testimony, you made something a little bit more accessible. Even though I did enjoy it more than the crew did, I just feel like after hearing this, you did go the more accessible route, the safer route with adding Jay to it. But I think if you would have just dropped this, you would have been perfectly fine. I think your fans would appreciate it a lot more. Not saying that, you know, some don't appreciate Written Testimony, because like I said, again, I do. But nah, man, this was a good project. It took a minute for me to get over that it was supposed to come out, you know, in 2010, 2012. But once I got over that, I was able to really enjoy this, and I am still enjoying it. I probably will continue to, like I said, enjoy it and break it down. But appreciate the music, man. Hope we get an Act 3. That'll be pretty cool to close this up out. And yeah, appreciate it.
J-Elect, if you're watching, I thought it was interesting as I was sitting here just thinking while they were talking that the album leaked in 2020 when leaks were really a thing in 2012. I don't know why. It just seemed, there's an irony there that I was just sitting here just thinking through. Nevertheless, it's good to finally hear it because it was this big thing that we heard was done but was eventually shelved. Even though it was under circumstances that I suppose you had no control over. But nevertheless, there's a timelessness that I kind of felt outside of some dated lyrics here, and having heard some of the singles from back then that I got from this album that I think speaks to you as an artist and your ability to create just music in general overall. And I think that speaks to your level of talent, your creativity, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's really dope. And, I know that because of all of that, there's a certain inspiration that comes with you getting into the booth or writing and composing music. All of that being said, I've enjoyed everything you put out for the most part, and I'm gonna add this to that collection as well. And I enjoyed the album, and I thought it was good. And if there's an Act 3, great, but the fact that we got this only because it leaked doesn't give me a lot of hope that there will be an Act 3. So I'm just gonna enjoy this, and that'll be that.
J-Elect Ramadan, J-Elect Hamamadan. I forget all the other names he used to throw out there, but J-Electronica. This is a really, really interesting project, man. I really enjoyed it. I have my small gripes with it, but it's a leak, so it wasn't prepared according to the lore of this. It wasn't prepared for it to come out, so I can't really knock the things that are production quality issues. But as far as a song standpoint, this was actually really, really good. I do, like the rest of the guys said, I do wish that this had come out prior to a written testimony. I feel like this would have led us better into a joint project with you and Jay-Z. But what's done is done. Hindsight is 2020. Whatever. Either way, this is a cool project, man. I really enjoyed it. I'll definitely be returning to it. And I am curious to see if you do an Act 3, because it's only right that you go ahead and close this out. Even if you weren't planning on releasing this, it's out now. So I know your fans would love to hear a conclusion for this trilogy. So hopefully we get that. But if not, and you do something else, I'm definitely gonna check it out. So be well.